Hey, it's PJ from North Carolina. God damn, Ben, you're going to make me follow that? Jeez.
You always do so good, man. It's good to hear from you. 2 nights in a row,
thank
man.
you, man.
What's happening?
All right, a couple of things. I wanted to call with this real quick, but I'm going to touch on the election in particular. That lady, that Ohio representative or whatever she was for Trump in the Trump campaign, one thing that really got to me, this is the second time I heard that clip, and I didn't realize it until now. A lot of people, when they're defending Trump, especially on the subject of racism, they'll specifically say, oh, he never said X, Y, or Z. Quote me a time when he said that he hated blacks, or he hated Mexicans, or he hated Muslims. And of course, if you bring up his policies, they're going to say, oh, well, it's about security or crime or blah, 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 blah. However, somehow she explicitly said she's thankful for Trump pointing out that blacks don't work hard enough, essentially. Every racist thing she said, she specifically said, and I am thankful for Trump for pointing that out. Now, for how exactly, if not using racist terms or dog whistles, did that woman who worked for the Trump campaign get to that conclusion that Trump said all that? If that doesn't prove the iota of racism from him, then nothing else does. Sorry, what was that?
No, I was getting ready to say something, but I want you to finish your thought. Go for it.
Okay, no, that was it on that lady, but I do want to touch on the Jimmy Dore thing. If you want to say something first.
Go for it. No, I agree with you.
The Jimmy Dore thing. On the Jimmy Dore thing, okay, I do disagree. I did watch the entire debate. I do disagree with Jimmy's end game. However, I did end up disagreeing with Sam more, not explicitly in something he said, but rather I was literally watching with my eyes the video, and he got more upset the more Jimmy kept throwing out ammo against Clinton. Now, personally, I live in North Carolina. It's going to be a battleground state, so I'm going to vote for Hillary. I don't really want to. But I do understand the idea that if you're in a state, one way or the other, vote third party because we do want change. However, with regards to this debate, I think Jimmy's voice, even though his plan isn't perfect, I think Jimmy's voice and his sentiment is exactly what we need, because we shouldn't hold our nose and vote for Hillary. We should vote for her on conditions. We should vote for her with pitchforks so close to her backside so she knows she's in trouble, figuratively. We should let her know that not only is she a flawed candidate, she's a bad politician that we don't like. We're only taking her on the condition that she's against Trump. And she should know that everything stuff that people like Jimmy say about like her policies and her lack of transparency and her addiction to money and corruption are not stuff that we should be able, are not things that we should have to accept for longer than this election, this horse race. So in short, I think that Jimmy should keep pounding out everything that's wrong with Hillary, not to make people vote for Trump, but to let people know, okay, we know that Trump is just bad. However, Hillary is was a nose away from losing most evil, lesser evil race. And so we have to let her know that if we're letting her going to govern us and run the country, that we need what we want. We intend to get what we want. The progressives in particular, the people who are not satisfied with her. She should know that she's walking on thin ice the moment she's inaugurated.
Absolutely.
For her sake.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, for the sake of America, right? Which, thanks so much for that call, man, because you actually take me into the next part of my argument. And I appreciate you for holding for so long. I didn't realize I had you on hold that long, man. Here's the next side of that argument, right? So it's like two parts of the argument. One, I'm choosing who I'm going to oppose, right? Because I will not affirmatively say that I'm going to support Hillary Clinton when she's in office. If she does a policy I agree with, I'll support her. But if she doesn't, which looks like very likely, then I'm going to fight her tooth and nail, right? I would just rather fight her than fight Donald Trump. Now, the other side of that equation is exactly what the last caller with PJ just said. And it goes with, let me just include this gentleman in the conversation. It goes with the article from Charles Blow this morning, The Folly of the Protest Vote. And Mr. Charles Blow, who has me blocked on Twitter for whatever, I don't know. I don't even remember ever having a conversation with this dude, but there's a lot of sensitive folks on Twitter. They'll just block you just because because you said something that hurt their feelings, but whatever. But this article this morning was targeted towards students from Morgan State University. It's a historically black college and university. Actually, I remember playing them when I went to Bethune-Cookman University, another HBCU. But he's addressing black students who are young millennials who are they still millennials in people in college right now? If they are, okay. He's addressing them, saying that their protest vote rather is illogical. And he goes down a litany of things that makes it illogical. And in a lot of ways, I'm agreeing with them because, if you really care about Black Lives Matter, then you have to be able to identify who is the biggest threat to that movement. And it's not just Donald Trump. It's the people that Donald Trump fosters and foments to the top, right? That crowd is a direct threat against what you're fighting for in Black Lives Matter. And I'm not talking policy wise, we gotta fight against Hillary Clinton on things as well. But when I talk about people who are going to be in your face with their guns and say that your life doesn't matter, you can't not take that into consideration. And so he's making these points, but then at the end, he tries to circle back and make it an affirmative statement of support for Hillary Clinton, as though not only should we look at the negative about Donald Trump, but we also should find something redeeming in Hillary Clinton and say, I'm supporting her because of X, Y, and Z. And I just, with as far as Hillary's concerned,
that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
That's not. I mean, for people who have principled dissent and disagreements against things that Hillary Clinton has done historically and what she represents right now, you cannot guilt them into loving Hillary Clinton. And I've actually seen quite a few articles that suggest that our relationship with Hillary Clinton should be one of affectionate support. Nah, come. The folly of that entire article was that you expect people to actually transition from principled dissent to actually adoring Hillary Clinton in any level, form, or fashion. That's not going to work on any because what the last caller just said is so true. If you disagree with not just Hillary Clinton, it's actually bigger than her. If you disagree with the current American presidential paradigm, the way the office of the presidency works, then you are not going to be able to affirmatively support Hillary Clinton. You're not. You're just not going to be able. If you disagree with Americans' foreign policy and America's history of hawkishness, and you're not going to be able to agree and affirmatively support Hillary Clinton. If you disagree with the economic policies of the last 40, 50 years, you're not going to be able to affirmatively support Hillary Clinton no matter how bad Donald Trump is. So stop asking people to like Hillary Clinton. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. The best you can hope for is to say for people to simply say, I would rather fight Hillary Clinton than to fight Donald Trump. Because to me, that's the only case for Hillary Clinton, is that she is the person we would rather dig our feet in the ground and stand our ground politically and fight against over the next 4 years. But it's like these people really expect us to have this affectionate love for and support for Hillary Clinton. And that part just does not compute because of the place from which this dissent comes. It's not only that, but this generation has the proper relationship with power and politicians. It should not be one of an adoring fan. It should be one of a person who views power through the lens of skepticism every single day of every moment of every waking moment, so that when Hillary Clinton becomes president, it's not a moment where we're like, that left with President Obama. I'm sorry, that lived and died with President Obama's 8 years of presidency. We are no longer going to be fawning over a president or anyone with that amount of power. Anybody with that amount of power needs to be viewed through the lens of suspicion every single day. They are our elected officials who have the ability to affect 360 million lives domestically and billions of lives globally. We should not give Hillary Clinton a single day where we are not viewing every decision through the lens of skepticism. We will not, I mean, you guys could do what you want to do, but I will not ever have a day where I'm going to just say this is okay because it's coming from Hillary. That era is over. If it's not okay for them to do it, it's not okay for us to do it. And that is the way Hillary's first 4 years will be. That's the way every president going forward should be. Nobody should have the ability to sit back and say, oh, my adoring fans, they're going to support me anyway. No, everyone must view power through the lens of skepticism and, yes, suspicion. Because power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. You guys have a good night. Tomorrow, there's no bonus show tonight for all of my patrons. I'm sorry. But tomorrow, I will come in and do the first Friday show of bonus show for all of our patrons. So tomorrow, there will be a full episode for our patrons because I got to get my kids home. Just as quiet as it's kept.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog, join the Progressive Army, and support The Benjamin Dixon Show. It's Ben Dixon! If you like this episode, be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Consider becoming a Patreon. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and support The Benjamin Dixon Show.